poetry is one of the oldest forms of public speaking. Over 4,000 years ago, before the invention of writing, poetry was passed from generation to generation through oral tradition. Poetic forms such as rhyme and meter serve a dual role of making oral presentations more enjoyable to hear and easier to remember. After the invention of the written language, poetry eventually changed to something more often read and heard. The development of written poetry led to more complicated forms of poetic expression and interpretation, but people still enjoy the simple pleasure of hearing a poem read aloud. Arlinda will not be looking at the audience because it could inhibit the audience response. Let's remember America's most popular poem, The Raven. Help me welcome Arlinda Smith, The Raven. Arlinda Smith, The Raven.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and our honored guest, Debbie. Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven is one of America's favorite poems. It is about a man who pines for his deceased love, Lenore, and is visited by a bird whose only word is nevermore. I hope you enjoy The Raven as much as I do. The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as if someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this, and nothing more. Distinctly, I remember, it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my books the crease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels named Lenore. Name was here forevermore. Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, or "Madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door, darkness there, and nothing more. Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word Lenore. This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word Lenore. Merely this, and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning, open here I flung the shutter, when with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made ye, not a minute stopped or stayed ye, but with mane of lord ordained, perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Phallus, just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the consonant it wore. Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou, I said, art sure no craven. ghastly, grim, and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night Plutonian shore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bus, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing further than he uttered, not a feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered. Other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will lead me, as my hopes have flown before. Then the bird said nevermore. But the raven still beguiling all my fancy into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bus and door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking, fancy unto fancy, thinking, what this ominous bird of yours, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yours, meant in croaking nevermore. This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing, to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining, on the cushioned velvet seat that the lamplight gloated o'er, but whose velvet, violet lining was the lamplight gloating o'er. She shall press, ah, nevermore. Then methought the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by seraphim, whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. Wretch, I cried, thy God has lent thee, by these angels he has sent thee. Respite, omnipotent, from thy memories of Lenore. Quafe, oh quafe this kind epithet, and forget this lost Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil prophet still, if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell the soul the sorrow laden, if within the distant aideth, it shall clasp a saving maiden, whom the angels name Lenore. Clasp a rare and radiant maiden, whom the angels name Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. By that word or sign of parting, bird or fiend I shrieked of starting, get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thou soul hast spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting, on the pallid bust of Sally, just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all the seeing of a demon that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor. And my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore.